Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, I've been having a debate. People say that Mr. Canelo Alvarez uses catch weights, uses rehydration clauses to, handicap his opponents. And we've been going back and forth on Facebook with my good friend Christian, trying to have a dig at Canelo for using these particular clauses to handicap guys. And he said if Bivol doesn't have a clause, he favors him to win. So Eddie Hearn has come out and confirmed that there is no clauses, there's no catch weight fights, there's no rehydration clause, and this has cleared things up. That Canelo Alvarez is fighting Bivol without any clauses. He's fighting Dmitry Bivol without any clauses. And this is what Eddie Hearn had to say on the DAZN boxing show. Canelo could have had a catch weight real easy. Bivol would have accepted anything 171 pounds plus. Canelo and Eddie Reynoso said no catch weight. If this is for the 175-pound world title, that's what it's going to be. And rehydration clause doesn't exist. You'd like to give Canelo credit for rejecting the catch weight. This is just the article. You'd like to give Canelo credit for rejecting the catch weight and rehydration clause for the fight, but given that it wouldn't have worked against a fighter like Bivol to get an edge on him, it's hard to give the Mexican star kudos for turning it down. If anything, a rehydration clause and catch weight would have negatively impacted Canelo much more than it would have for Bivol, because the Mexican star looks as big as a house after he rehydrates for fights. Bivol is from Russia, and there's many people from that part of the world. He's lean and doesn't put on a lot of weight between fights. He's disciplined and not someone fighting out of his weight class. Nowadays, it's become the norm for fighters to compete in weight classes much lower than their natural weight. The fighters drain themselves 15 to 20 pounds to gain this advantage of the system by fighting smaller guys. Many fighters do that. Once they rehydrate, they've become bigger than their opposition, hence the name weight bullies. Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. And this is something that happens a lot in boxing. They're fighting well above. They should be fighting at a much higher weight class, and they drain themselves and then have a huge size advantage on fight night, which I think is dangerous. And I've slammed it in the past. You guys know I'm not interested, or I'm not so much interested, but I'm very high on fighter safety. And I think guys being 15, 20 pounds on fight night, heavier on fight night, is dangerous, and it shouldn't be allowed. But that's just my take, and that's the way I view it. But I'm pretty sure others may have a different viewpoint. Others may view things differently, but that's just my viewpoint. I just don't like it when fighters have a huge fight advantage. Now, in terms of this, Canelo has come under a lot of stick in the past, having, I believe he had a rehydration clause against Kovalev. He gave Kovalev a short camp, and a lot of people gave Canelo a lot of stick. People like to give Canelo stick for no matter what, but it's here that Eddie Hearn said that there's no rehydration clause. Now, this is just an excuse, because as the article points out, Canelo's probably the one that's going to be hurt by the rehydration clause. Yeah, Bivol might be the bigger guy, but I don't think he's the bigger guy. I think Canelo's the guy that's looking to come and stop Bivol from moving, looking to knock Bivol out. He's looking to, rehydration clauses can have an effect on you, the way, your stamina later on in fights. So it does have that impact, and Bivol's a mover. But I do think Canelo's the one that's going to be affected by the rehydration clause, because Canelo's the one that, for me, wants to get bigger. He's the one that's going to be the powerful guy and the one that's going to be looking to knock Bivol out. I don't think Bivol knocks Canelo out. But why do people always hate on Canelo? Fighters in the past have done this before. This is not new. When you're in position of power, you use your power. They misuse their power. Look, Mayweather fought Maidana. He made Maidana wear the gloves that he wanted Maidana to wear. Maidana couldn't wear his gloves, and Floyd paid him for that. Floyd fought Canelo at a catch weight. Pacquiao's had catch weights. So, and in terms of rehydration clauses, I'm not sure if there was any rehydration clauses that Mayweather and Pacquiao had. I'm not sure. But every fighter that's in the position of power like Canelo uses their advantages, uses their power. That's just how boxing's been throughout time. That's just what fighters are like. Anyone that's in a position of power will use their advantage. Look, Canelo Alvarez is fighting Bivol at 175 pounds. There's no catch weight. There's no rehydration clause. But like I said, I think where this will come into play, And where I hope this may be a problem, if Canelo is going to use the rehydration, it's probably going to come against Beterbiev, because Beterbiev is way bigger than Bivol in terms of size. He is a house, built like a house. And he's big, he's strong, he's looking to come knock Canelo out. So will Canelo look to weaken him? I think that's the fight where I think we have to look out for it. I don't think Canelo will, because now Canelo set a precedent. You can't then have a rehydration clause for Beterbiev, because then that will look so bad. Because what that'll make it look like is that you weren't scared of Bivol, but you're scared of Beterbiev. And I don't think Canelo's kind of set a precedent. He won't do that now. So that's where I think that's the fight where it's going to be interesting to see if Canelo puts in any clauses in that fight against Beterbiev. But I think it's about time where the fans that seem to kind of dislike Canelo and always look to bash him, I think you've got to give him respect. He's fighting a guy at light heavyweight who's way bigger than him, and there's no catch weight, there's no rehydration clause. This is a very tough fight. And as I said yesterday, Teddy Atlas actually thinks that Bivol, this is the first time Canelo could lose a fight in a long time since he fought Golovkin. So, and I agree. So you've got to give Canelo kudos here. You've got to give him respect. You know, I think people just look to hate on Canelo and look to diminish him. But at the end of the day, look what Canelo's doing. Canelo's fighting somebody that's way bigger than him. No rehydration clause, no catch. And he could have easily put in there, as Eddie Hearn said, he could have easily said, listen, Bivol, come down to 171, we'll fight for the world title. But no, it's 175 pounds, so they're going to 175 pound. He fought Kovalev at 175 pound. But the reason why I think I don't know why he put a rehydration clause there either. Even though he could have fought Kovalev at a catch weight, but that would have been difficult for Kovalev, because Kovalev's a very big light heavy. I think it would have been tough. Kovalev's at cruiserweight now. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of catch weights. I don't like catch weights. I think they're terrible. I think rehydration clauses, I think depending on the fight, is acceptable, in my opinion, because it's not fair. For example, we had the Khan Brook fight. It's not fair for Kell Brook to be 20 pounds heavier than Amir Khan on fight night. It's not fair. It's not fair. I'm not against it, because if you're rehydrating that much in a fight, then you shouldn't be at that weight class. Then you shouldn't be fighting that person. Simple as that. If you're, you know, 15, 20 pounds bigger than your opponent on fight night, you should not be at that weight class. Simple as that. You're too big. You have too much of a weight advantage, and for me, you're a weight bully. So for me, I don't hate rehydration clauses. No, I think if you're fighting somebody, you shouldn't be 10, 15, 20 pounds heavier than them on fight night. It should be an even contest where both guys are around the similar size. So I think if a fighter, like for example, when Khan fought Canelo was way heavier than Khan. For me, that sort of fight shouldn't happen, and it shouldn't be allowed, because one guy's so much smaller than the other guy. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. So I think that you should only be at max 10 pounds differentiation between the fighters on fight night, because otherwise you're basically fighting somebody in a bigger weight class. You're basically fighting somebody that's way bigger than you. And how is that a fair contest? I don't quite understand that. So that's the way I view it. That's the way I view boxing. So I'm not a big fan of catch weights. I'm okay with rehydration clauses if one of the fighters is looking to take advantage of the system, like this article points out. If they're looking to boil themselves down, like Bivol for me is not looking to boil himself down. For me, he can even make 168. Maybe if Bivol came at 168, then you would say he's boiling himself down. You know, but yeah, light heavyweight, Bivol's just a natural light heavyweight. He's just a regular guy at light heavyweight. He's not big, he's not small, you know. So for me, Bivol's not looking to take advantage of the system. So for a rehydration clause on him would be, I don't even think it'd affect him that much, to be honest, because I think Bivol's not that big anyway. I don't think Bivol's going to rehydrate to that crazy amount anyway. So if a rehydration clause here would hurt Canelo, because Canelo's probably looking to balloon up. You know, even though I don't think Canelo's going to balloon up, and I don't think the size difference between these two is going to be huge on fight night in terms of weight. I don't think the weight disparity is going to be big between these two on fight night. But nonetheless, you know, I'm not a big fan. I'll say it now, I'm not a big fan of all these clauses. But with the rehydration clause, I feel like if a fighter is looking to be a weight bully and looking to take advantage, then I think a rehydration clause on him is fair. Because it's not fair for you to then put on, if you're fighting at 168 and then you enter the ring at 190, that is just not right. That is not right for me. That's dangerous. Especially if the other guy is just a natural 168 pounder where he's not going to rehydrate massively. So that's my take on that. I think it's a great fight. I think Bivol Canelo, as you guys know, is a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, it's good to hear that, you know, there's no catch weight, there's no rehydration clause. That puts all the, you know, doubters and the people that were saying that, you know, Canelo's going to have handicap Bivol. No, Canelo Alvarez rejected catch weight and rehydration clause for Bivol fight. So yeah, that's great news. Great news. And I look, if Canelo wins this fight, he wins because he's great. Not because any excuse. I don't want to hear any excuses. A lot of people are now bringing up the scorecards and Bivol's going to get robbed. If Canelo, here's the problem that Canelo has. If Canelo wins a close fight and he legitimately wins a close fight, people are going to automatically say Bivol won. And this is the problem Canelo has. Canelo can't win. Canelo has to go in there and dominate. And Canelo isn't Roy Jones. Canelo isn't that type of fighter where he's going to be dominant like that. Canelo breaks you down. He has a more methodical kind of approach where he breaks you down and beats you into submission. And he doesn't always look spectacular while doing it, right? He's very effective and very efficient, but he doesn't always look spectacular in the way he breaks you down and gets the victories. So when it comes to the round, they're quite subjective and people can say that he lost that round. And that's the thing with Canelo, where someone like a Roy Jones was just so spectacular and he looked so good and you could tell he's winning the round. With Canelo's more, you know, he's more of a guy that's breaking you down slowly, but he doesn't look as spectacular as someone like Roy Jones. And I think sometimes Canelo's skills get overlooked. And hence why some people had him losing against Saunders, which is absurd. Some people had him losing against Plant. So honestly, some people had him losing the fight up until he knocked him out against Plant. I just don't see how you can see it that way, but there's some people out there that did. And this is the problem I have. I think Canelo's work in the ring gets overlooked. So Canelo's going to have to go in there and dominate. And this is a very tough fight. I don't think he's going to be able to dominate Bivol like that. You know, I hope he can score a late stoppage, because I don't see him totally outboxing Bivol. I think Bivol's going to have a lot of success. I can't see how Canelo's going to be totally outboxing this dude. He's too good. Do you understand? He's too good to be totally dominated and outboxed. I think Canelo, what he's going to have to do is, Canelo might lose a few rounds, but he's going to have to slowly chip away and break him down. Break this guy down. Now, Teofimo Lopez said that Canelo Alvarez has got used to, and Bivol's a perfect style for him. I think Canelo Alvarez has got used to fighting these type of guys. I think over the last couple of years, he's fought a lot of guys like this that move, and so Canelo's got experience, but this is a different level of fighter, different caliber of fighter that he's going in the ring with. This isn't your normal Joe that he's been going in the ring with, or your normal regular champion. This is a top fighter, and a fighter that's going to test Canelo a lot, and Canelo's going to have to show us a lot in this fight. This is a very, very, very tough matchup, and one that I'm very, very interested in terms of the matchup. Not so much the hype and the build-up, but this is a proper fight. Telling you guys now, this is a proper fight. This is not going to be easy for Canelo whatsoever. This is going to be a tough matchup. It's a legacy fight for Canelo. This is going to be one of the fights that are going to be mentioned on Canelo's resume. Oh, he beat Dmitry Bivol, if he can pull this off, because this is a proper fight. You know, Bivol might not have the name, or he might not have some of the glossy names that some of the guys that Canelo's beaten in the past, but Bivol is one of the best guys that he's going to be stepping in the ring with in his prime. A bigger man, a very good boxer, and I think this is going to be one of his toughest fights in his whole career. I think this is a proper tough fight. So Canelo's going to have to be on his A game in this one. Otherwise, you know, he might end up losing. He might end up taking a loss in this fight. You know, there is a chance that he may end up taking a loss. You know, and I think we've got used to seeing Canelo as Superman. We forget that he's human at the end of the day. And there's only when you're moving up weight classes, these fights become very difficult. You know, when you're fighting a champion, we're almost taking what Canelo's doing for granted. But trust me, this is a very difficult fight, and a fight that he could more without question could lose. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out, but it's great news that there's going to be no catch weight, no rehydration clause. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.